So, Bristol Bears 25, Leicester Tigers 14. I'm not making a match prediction ever again. In the preview, for those that didn't watch it, I said that we would win comfortably by 15 points and get a bonus point. I was so wrong. Literally in humble pie. That was... I'm still baffled. Obviously, it's the morning after, and I'm just baffled. Absolutely baffled. There was so much promise. We looked brilliant in the pre-season. We looked like a new team, playing a different style of rugby, a really good brand of rugby. And it felt like we were back in 2018-19 season for large parts of that game. This is a really hard game to review because it was just so surprising in a bad way. It was, I guess better just get straight into the game. Obviously started really poorly. Joe Powell kicking out on the full. Bristol get a line out. Big carry from Van Rensburg. And then a few phases, pass to the wing. Lane kicks through and Ibitoye touches down. Inside 2 minutes, it's not going well. And we had a chance to get on the board. Atkinson missed a pretty straightforward penalty, and it just kept getting worse, didn't it? 20 minutes they scored 2 quick tries. The first one a rolling maul. I don't know what was going on with our rolling maul defence. We're normally pretty solid. We all splintered off, and they basically just ran over Harry Thacker scoring. Of course he scored, always scores against us. And then it just went from bad to worse. Messy restart, they get the ball, Ibitoye runs in from 50 metres. Quick shout on Cam Henderson. That was almost one of the best try-saving tackles I've ever seen, showing some real pace again. But 19-0 down, quarter or so gone. We just looked shell-shocked. Absolutely shell-shocked. We looked surprised. We just looked like we're back in Leicester. We did not get started at all. It generally couldn't have gone much worse, could it? That first 20. Credit to Bristol. They obviously maybe have watched our games and they really kicked really well. They found a lot of space in our backfield, keep pushing us back. We just seemed to be in our own half for the whole first 20 minutes. It was, absolute credit to Bristol. They slotted a penalty just before half time. 22-0 at half time. Who was expecting that? No one. Absolutely no one was expecting that. Literally didn't fire a single shot in that first half. Physicality was nowhere. We just looked flat. Just completely flat. I think we won maybe 1 or 2 scrum penalties was the only good thing that happened in that first half. It was probably one of the worst halves performance-wise that I've seen in a long while. Multiple years, probably going back to that 2019 season. It was just dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. Just was not expecting it one bit. Second half needed a response. I'm sure Dan McKellar gave quite a halftime speech, but Bristol scored first, 25-0 down, and that was kind of the game really. I know it probably was the game after 20, but 25-0 down, you don't really come back from that. Tom Whiteley came on, made some early subs, and he made an impact instantly. Put a really good kick through. Bit lucky with the bounce, but good chase from Dan Kelly to score under the post to get our first points of the season, first try. And then James Shilcock came on as well, and our attack looked pretty good. Definitely the best it looked all game. Back to sort of the attacking play we looked against Newcastle. Thought Jamie had a very solid stint off the bench, but took until 71st minute to get the next try. Again, Tom Whiteley involved, held his pass back a tiny bit, brought the hole. Liebenberg ran straight through it, good finish. And we should have really got a losing bonus point. Obviously, we're attacking late on, but that last couple of phases, that last couple of plays off the scrum just kind of summed up our game completely, didn't it? First of all, I think we tried one move and almost just ran into each other, the back line, and then the second one we knocked on and Bristol kicked out, and that was it. 25-14. Very, very, very disappointing. I think serious questions got to be asked about our preparations. How did we go from looking like a brilliant team, albeit against weaker opposition, Newcastle 2 weeks ago, and just looking like the Tigers team of 5 years ago last night? Was it right that we rested all of our players last week? Obviously, Bristol put out a pretty strong team against Cambridge last week, and we just, it did look like we'd not played together. Passes going to no one, lots of knock-ons. I think the stat was 21 turnovers conceded. That's just dreadful, absolutely dreadful. And I think the thing for me that was the most worrying was Bristol just wanted it more. They just appeared to be really wanting it. Maybe they'd seen a few people write them off, seen maybe a few of us big up Leicester and how we're going to be a good team this season, but Bristol just wanted it more. Pat Lam just, he won one over us, didn't he? That was, just going back to that first 20, I think, as I said, Bristol did find that space, but I think the rest of the match showed that we made them look good. We made them look good. I think they played decent, but I can't say they're going to triple top 4 this season. We were just absolutely dreadful. Again, look at stats here, 9 entries, only 14 points into 22. That is very poor. Very, very poor. Again, I'm just really worried about Atkinson. For Wasps, he looked brilliant, like a real star that is going to be an England international for many years. And I don't know, I do feel sorry for him. It's just not clicking for him at Tigers, and I really hope it does. But he just looks short of confidence. He did at the back end of last season. I thought he looked good against Newcastle, but again, his kicking wasn't great off tee. But yeah, I really hope we have a change of tune with Atkinson, really soon as well. It was just so unlike what we've seen this season. Just very different to everything we've seen. I have a bit of positivity to end. I think you can almost completely write that game off because it was so poor, because it was so unlike everything we've seen so far this season. There's no chance we're going to be that poor again. Literally no chance we're going to play that badly again for the rest of the season. I'm expecting a big response. And we, again, second bit of positivity, we had still so many players away. There's a lot of qualities come back into that squad from the World Cup, a few injuries. Yeah, that was not our second team, but there's still a lot of qualities come back in. Third bit of quality, our scrums, they were pretty dominant all game. I think we conceded one penalty late on, but otherwise we were getting the nudge over them. Back to negativity quickly, but our maul, that was really weird. I can't remember last time our rolling maul was getting shoved backwards on the attack. Yeah, that hasn't happened for a long time. Very strange. Onto the standouts. There weren't too many, to be brutally honest, but I thought Henry Liebenberg obviously took his try well. Again, work rate was everywhere. 6 carries, 14 tackles. Yeah, I thought he had a pretty decent game. Maybe a slight question, captaincy-wise. Why did it take so long for a response? I feel like maybe I don't know what the term would be, but a shouty captain would have got us to response quicker, maybe. But again, that's on the whole 15 players. There's multiple leaders throughout that group. Shouldn't just be on him. But yeah, for the rest of his game, I thought Hanro had a good game. Cam Henderson, again, had a very strong game, strong at the line out. Really important carry in the build-up to the Liebenberg score. Obviously, already said, nearly made a tried the saving tackle of his life. Great pace. Carl Hatherell looked great off the bench, big impact, big carries. Just carried really hard. Jamie Shilcock, as I said, our attack looked best when he was on the field. I think maybe he should start next week. I thought he had a very good game. But player of the match for me, it's got to be Tom Whiteley. I know he was only on for maybe 30 minutes or so, but he was really impressive. Had hands in both the tries, obviously held his pass back and made the box kick. And just, we look good with him at 9, up the pace. I know sometimes it can be a bit easier coming off the bench as a scrum half. You can just go for it, quick ball, but I thought he had a very impressive game, and again, another one that put his hand up to start next week. But yeah, not the best of starts. Really not the best of starts. Not what we're expecting. Hopefully it was just a one-off and we're never going to see that bad performance again for the rest of the season. And yeah, Dan McKellar has got to bring out a big response against Sale next week. Obviously another tough outfit, and with a smaller, only 10 teams in the league, you can't be losing a few games. You'll be right down the bottom of the league. So yeah, got to expect a big response next week. Maybe a few World Cup players will be back, but yeah, very disappointing, but on to next week.